I want to chat real quick with Bruce Cleek, because Bruce spent Sunday afternoon with Megan Wood, and he just observed her. And I was quizzing him yesterday, so I unmuted. Bruce, you there? Hello, Bruce Cleek. Hello, Bruce. I unmuted you. Oh, maybe you muted yourself again. Let me unmute you. Huh, you're not unmuting. Okay, let me unmute everybody and then I'll. Bruce. You there? Bruce Cleek. Hello. Still, I'm unable to unmute you for some reason. Bruce.
Hello.
Hold on.
Okay. No, that's
Okay, you can hit spacebar, Bruce.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, good. So, Bruce, talk about your experience sitting with Megan Wood Sunday afternoon. I think you spent, what, 5 hours at her house?
Something like that. And 3, 4, 5, I don't know. I got there at 1:30. Left about 4. Yeah. 4
Okay.
5, yep.
So tell us what that was like, watching her do her thing. I mean, it was purely all on the phone, right?
Right. Yeah, she had all her stuff laid out. Had leads. Had a stack of probably 20 Facebook leads on one side, and then she had her paper apps on the other side of the table, ready to pull, and if she needed those, if they had a problem with the e-app for some reason, and then she had her file of previous clients, some of them, I don't know how many, over on the floor next to her, and and then she had some direct, just a handful of direct mail leads in front of her as well. So she was just kind of pulling from one, and then dialed that one and did the appointment, and all the way through to close, did the e-app. And once they were off the phone, she grabbed another one or went to another stack of the like a direct mail lead, and she pulled another client, lead from her previous clients. Just to kind of mix up the game, she said, so she doesn't run out of one lead type. She just mixes it all up. But she's just really friendly. It's just really almost like talking to a little kid when she's on the really, most, I think all but one were ladies, so that have lady to lady, that always seems to be a good thing. But she really, of course these were older. Most of them were all, I think all but one were final expense, so they were older. So she just really, and then she asked, if they were good on their with checking email, so she knew ahead of time which verification she would want to go with. So, but she was on the phone the whole time, pretty much the whole time, other than stopping for a minute or two and got coffee or a drink or let the dog out briefly. But she did not take she would ask if I had any questions or whatever in between, kind of, but they were about, each appointment was right about an hour, a little over. One of them was a little bit longer because they had a problem with she couldn't, they were trying to get around the pop-up blocker. So, and then one of them had a phone problem with the battery died. So that was the last one. She had to have one of her team members, Chris Manifold. She called him to see if he had a paper app with Transamerica, so she could go visit her or visit the client, get a signature on the paper app.
So did she, okay, so when you heard her dialing, did you hear her get shut down by anybody? Or she connected and then she sold them?
She connected and just went right, just went right in. Didn't, just, they were all very cooperative. Nobody seems to push. They were, no pushback.
So she closed every person she contacted while you were sitting with her.
Yes, yes, yes. And she had a couple of them that had problem there at first with the Social Security number and driver's license number. So she said, "Oh, let me send you. What I'll do is I'll send you over my virtual, business card and a picture of me and my son." And she said, "Will that make you feel better?" And it's, "Oh yeah, that looks good. Yeah, okay. So that helped. So I think that's a good thing to not automatically send it. Use it as a weapon, So whereas if you send it right away, then you don't have anything. If they scoff, if they've already got it and they're scoffing, you're kind of, what are you going to do then, So that's kind of my way I'm going to handle it. Only send it if they ask, if they have a problem with your identity.
And so you heard her dial Facebook leads?
Yeah.
She closed the Facebook leads right away.
Yeah. But one of them didn't really remember doing it, but she still closed them.
What'd she say to him?
Just talked about, do you have anybody that you're responsible for? I think she asked about their family, if they had someone that had, didn't have money, or if they had anybody that had passed away recently. And she said, "Oh yes, my brother or some family member." And she asked her, did they have money set aside to pay for the expenses? Oh, no, they did not. I guess that's why I was, filling this out, because I don't want my sister to have to pay for my expenses.
So she was good at finding the pain, finding why they sent it in, or who's responsible after they die. Those kind of questions.
Yes.
What other key questions that she asked that rung with you? I mean, give me examples of some questions, because I think it's all about asking questions.
Well, she asked, do you bank? Who do you bank with? Do you have, because she was trying to make sure that they didn't only have, if they had a checking account versus the Social Security card, because you can't, you can only go with a couple different carriers if that's all they have. So she got that right up front and asked about the family. Do you have kids, grandkids? And are they covered? I mean, just about their family situation. And one other thing that she got right down to the end of a mutual.
Hello?
Got right down to the last, almost to submit. And then the lady said, "Oh, I am taking Davaratin or something for Alzheimer's dementia," which is that's a knockout. So that's why she ended up having to go to Transamerica. So she was almost all getting ready to hit submit, and then said, "Oh, I forgot." Well, that makes sense. You got Alzheimer's, dementia. You would forget. So.
So she actually did Transamerica on Alzheimer's?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
maybe maybe that was the one with AIG.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't think Transamerica covered
Or,
Alzheimer's.
or
Okay,
Great, might
that
have been
makes sense.
Great Western.
Great
Maybe.
Western? Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. She went Transamerica with the one that her phone had phone battery problems, but she couldn't figure out the email or couldn't figure out the verification. And then her phone died, so she was afraid that she might change her mind if the battery took too long to get charged up. So she said, I'm going to have Chris go ahead and get it done now.
Yeah. So you were there for just 4 appointments, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's rocking.
And I was, like I say, I was kind of planning on doing a few dials myself at the same time, but in the closed space, like she's very, she's very boisterous, and she's very, make sure that they can hear her. So she does talk a little louder possibly than what she normally would. So there was no way I was going to dial and her dial at the same time. So I was just there to watch.
Man, I would love to I wish you had an MP3 recorder to record the whole thing, because I think a lot of it is in her delivery, and how she talks to them. I mean, it's more how she does it and her whole kind of vibe.
Like I say, she's talking a lot of times like she's talking to her 5-year-old boy. Just very soft and very friendly, and just asking how how your day was. And she always kept them involved in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't expect that she did a lot of talking.
Oh yeah, she did the whole. It was like carrying on a conversation the whole time while she's entering information in and asking them questions along the way. And they would just talk about it. And she has a new dog, and so that always triggered other questions and other conversations. And they would talk about dogs and
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool. Well, hey man, next time you have a chance to do that, bring an MP3 recorder.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I'm impressed that you were able to ask her to do that. And man, just to be a fly on the wall on someone who did a monster number of applications, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce.
And her, like I say, on band, what I saw was she had 60 contacts and 60 appointments last week. 52 apps. 27,500 annual premium.
That's crazy. Crazy. All right, man. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
And I think one of the key things there was she was on the phone. She was grinding on the phone. I don't know. She'd probably do it if she went from house to house to house, but I think she's probably way more efficient just grinding it on the phone. And we got that kind of skill and talent to be able to close everyone you contact. Why wouldn't you do it on the phone? But she had to end up sending one of her guys in Indianapolis to go meet the client to get an app signed. But hey man, that's called grinding. So anyway, I want to introduce one of my best friends, Mike and Kerry Williams. I mean, we've been through the fire together for a long time, 10 years, maybe, something like that. And they've just been very dear friends, and loved hanging out with them. I'll stay over at their house sometimes up there in Cleveland when I just don't have enough energy to drive home 3 hours. And they've just been more than kind to me and Jenny, and we love them very much. And I'm so proud to be in the same company as them. So as I mentioned earlier, man, Kerry was on here right at the beginning of the COVID-19 shutdown, trying to figure it out. So I am so excited to bring her on and have her share with you things she's learned over the period of time. And she's knocking it out. So I'm going to bring Kerry Williams on, and presume you're unmuted. Yeah, you're unmuted. So rock on. Kerry,
Good
welcome.
morning. I'm so excited and fired up to be here. I can't believe Alex Abuyuan asked me to be on the call.
Oh, come on. I'll tell you, it's my honor. It's our honor to have you here. And like I said, I am just so like, okay, so tell us
Okay.
over the last, like, what, 6 weeks? I mean, since you've been on our call the first time, like,
Sure.
what have you learned? What are you doing? You're like killing it now. And so help us understand
Well,
that.
first off, I want to thank you, Alex, for this opportunity. I don't take it lightly. It's kind of hard to follow Megan Wood.
Well,
You know,
it was,
thanks so much. I am aspiring to be Megan Wood.
me too.
I am Kerry Williams, along with my husband, Mike Williams. We're out of Cleveland, Ohio, where we rock. And I've been with the company, just a little background. I've been with the company going on 10 years. You know, I would just tell everybody, listen to Alex, listen to your upline. They're going to help you. This is amazing because he's got people helping you during this difficult time. And you know, people who grow have a tendency to reinvent and figure it out. And I want to grow. So when this first came about, what we did is we did a zip whip with all my current clients. Now, some of you are new, so you won't have the current clients, but the majority of my business, just like Katrina Guston, has been over the phone and current clients and referrals. But last week, I actually had 4 leads. I went and met with 4 people. I had my mask on. I had my gloves on. They wanted me to come to the house. Okay, they didn't question it. In fact, the gentleman is waiting for a kidney transplant.
Wow.
So I don't balk, you guys. I say, you know, I can come to your house and I have time tomorrow. But if they balk and they say, no, I say, okay, you know, we'll do it by phone. Now, the difference between me and Megan is I send my credentials in immediately so that they know that I am a real person. I send them my Ohio Ohio license with my driver's license and my personal address blacked out and my business card. I had a lady last week who, by the way, I'm calling mainly old leads, DLPs, things of that nature. Her husband died in November. And she's like, it's all a big scam. I don't know who you are. And the minute I sent my credentials, she said, give me a minute. She went and looked me up.
Wow.
After she looked me up, she called me back and she said, okay, I know where your office is. I know that you're in Chardon, which is not far from me. And we wrote the policy. She did wake up in the middle of the night, the next night, thinking I was still maybe a scam. But she called my number and my voice was there. And I think she probably called my office number too. You know, you can't help people kind of feeling uncomfortable giving out personal information. But can I tell you, I follow my ATM. The first thing I do is when I call somebody, I say, hey, you know, it's been a little while. I don't know if you'll remember this. We got a responder from you about your U.S. bank loan of $125,000 where it could pay off the loan in the event of a death or a disability. And my manager's records are showing no one ever helped you. Is that true? Did anyone ever get out there and show you those options? I'll tell you, I'd say 8 out of 10 have not been helped. And I say, hey, my simple job is to take care of people who got missed just like you. And they're like, now, oh, okay. And I say, so listen, I have a couple minutes right now or an hour from now. Guys, do not book them the next day. They won't be there. I try to get them on the same day. If they go the next day, I am texting them right after the call. I'm texting them again in the morning. I'm texting them an hour before because people have a tendency to not want to take a phone call. But I've been pretty successful. It's gotten better each week. I started, I think, at like 4,500 the first week of April. Then I went to 57, then 68. And last week I did 9,851. So I'm right around 23 or 24,000 for the month. Again, far cry from Miss Katrina Gustin and Angela Manzo and some of those people, but I am running after them and I'm going to get them.
I love it. I love that. That shows steady learning and improvement, and you just sort of like you're conquering it.
The
through
other
the whole
thing
thing.
is, just like you bringing people on here, I have been on several calls and heard other people like Paul Menachino and Mia Fennell. I'm listening, guys. I've been here 10 years. I am not proud. I'm going to get on every call I can with these high achievers and high AP writers, and I'm going to listen because I'm going to get something. So whenever you see something on band and they have some people teaching, please get on there. You're going to find something out, just like Alex bringing me on today. I mean, you have an amazing leader. Can I tell you something? Dear Lord, you have Alex Abuyuan and Jenny Abuyuan. Dear Lord, they are awesome. I can't say enough about them. I don't know if there's anything else I could share, be a little more specific on, Alex.
Yeah, so I know that when prior to all this, when you book appointments on the leads, you would be Kathy, right?
Yes.
Kathy Williams. You do the third party. But since we've been, have you like gone away from that just because you could like do an appointment right there with the person?
Right. So, and I actually changed something else up. I'm pretty confident when I call, by the way. I am not, hey, this is Kerry Williams. I'm like, hey, John, this is Kerry Williams. I'm calling because we received a form you sent back. This is how I'm talking to them. I'm very authoritative. I use both my first and last name because guess what? If I'm going to set an appointment right then and there, and they're going to get my credentials, I better be who I am.
You better be who you
I
are.
better not be Kathy.
So, so you're very bold. You kind of amp up the authoritative voice on the phone. What so continue your script because I want to hear how you get to either doing it right then and there or booking it later.
So I'll do the ring ring and you go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, hello?
Real quick.
Yeah, hello?
Alex?
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, this is Kerry Williams. I'm calling because we received that form you sent back for your Huntington National Bank loan for $150,000, and it's where it could pay off the loan in the event of a death or a disability. And you filled out the little boxes for you and Jenny. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, kind of remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, with COVID, we're kind of feeling out what you want to do. I can come out tomorrow if that works for you. Does that work for you?
We're a little uncomfortable with people coming to the house.
You know what? And we understand that, and we're an essential we're part of the essential workforce. So what we're doing to make you comfortable is we're going to do it by phone or Zoom. Do you have capabilities for a Zoom video call?
Yeah, we do that with our kids now.
Well, I'm going to act like you don't because I'd say
okay. No, I don't. What's Zoom? What's Zoom?
Like a video deal. It's really kind of fun, but what I'm doing is because of the situation we're in, I have a few minutes right now to go over your options with you, or an hour from now. Which would work best for you and Jenny?
Well, Jenny's not here right now, but she's taking a shower right now. So probably in an hour, I think.
An hour? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot you a text, and it's going to have my credentials and the time, and be sure and tell Jenny so she knows why this strange lady's calling you in an hour, okay?
Okay. All right,
All
great.
right. And then once I get them on the phone, they usually put me on speaker, and I say, so how are you guys doing? This is the first thing out of my mouth, you guys. How are you doing? How are you handling COVID? Are you retired? Do you work? What do you guys got going on? Like yesterday, I had a couple where she's been laid off. He's still working. I said, so how is that? How's everything going? Are you guys kind of staying home? Do you have family? You see, I just start talking to them. And I say, hey, let me ask you, how long you two been married? Oh, we were married 29 years. I go, 31 for us this year. Woohoo! And I say, that's a big deal. And they're like, yeah, I know. And Do you have kids? Yeah, they're all grown. Well, how many do you have? And do you have grandkids? Do you guys see them? I said, I am waiting for my son to ask that girl so I can get a grandkid. And they're like, oh, you're going to love it. So I just start talking with them.
Yeah.
And my appointments run, and the reason they run longer is, I'll tell you, our connectivity has been horrible with Verizon and the internet. Those
Yeah.
the e-apps are what's taking me a long time.
Right.
But really, probably about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Then I actually go to what I do with my ATM. And the first thing I do is I say, okay, there's 3 things I do with my clients. Number 1, you're going to tell me why this is important to you, why you sent it in, okay? I'm trying to get them to say yes as many times as I can before we get into everything. And they'll say, oh, okay. And I say, second thing, I've got 18 companies like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, AIG. So if I tell you something that doesn't fit your budget, I want you to say, Kerry, show me something else, because my biggest concern is taking care of your family, but making sure it fits your budget. Can we agree to that? Yes. And the last thing is, Bob and Mary, we're not going to have a nurse come out and take blood or urine. All we're going to do today, I'm assuming it, guys, all we're going to do today is find a company of choice. We're going to send in a simple email questionnaire, and they're either going to say yes or no. Does that sound like a good plan? Yes. And then I go into, I've been in insurance for over 22 years. I've got a husband. We've been married, like I said, 31 years. It's a work in progress every day because we work together, and now we're like in the house together all the time. And they laugh. You want to get them to laugh. If you hear dogs, I say, you've got dogs. What do you got? If I hear children, are those yours? Oh, no, those are grandkids. Oh, how many do you have? And I'm making note of it because I'm now going to ask them to, cover their grandkids or their children. So I go through the ATM, and the biggest thing I still do, if it's a couple, is after I get all their financial information, and guys, here's how I ask for that to make sure I get the safe money. Like yesterday, I said, hey, Brenda, do you have any life insurance outside work? She didn't, or no, she had 15,000. And do you have anything at work like 401k or IRA that could offset this so we maybe don't have to buy so much insurance? Well, I've got a 15,000 401k. It's not very big. I said, hey, that's more than most people have. And I make a note of it. Then I went to him. He has no 401k. He has a something through the credit union, and I'm like, oh dear Lord. So the point is, before I start quoting, I say, hey, I have to ask you guys a really difficult question. Brenda, if Bob died last night, could you make the mortgage happen, or would it be difficult? Now, mind you, I already know I've got all their financials. I know they don't have any insurance. And she said, no, it would be really hard. I said, so what would you have to do? Would you have to sell the place, rent it? She goes, well, I think my kids would probably help me out. I said, ooh, right now that's not such a good deal with people being laid off and everything with the COVID, right? She goes, oh, yeah. And I go, and that takes a little while, to get people to help you. I said, so what else do you think you could do? She goes, oh, my God, I'd have to sell it. And the reason I'm doing this, guys, is I want her husband to see how she's struggling. I don't want to tell him. I want him to see it. Then I do the exact same thing with him. Could you make it happen? And he actually said, no, I can't. And I said, well, then what are you going to do? And he says, oh, I'd have to sell it, move to an apartment. I said, oh, that's a hassle, isn't it? And I said, I'm glad you love her. I know that's why I'm on the phone today. And they'll look like real big jerks if they don't take care of their wife after I tell them that they love them.
That's a great statement.
Okay. So I say, who sent it in? And he said, I sent it in. I said, oh, you must love your wife. I don't see a lot of that. You've been married for 29 years and he loves you, Brenda. How awesome is that? So you got to bring in the personal touch, even if you're on the phone. And here's one other thing I say. If they are in my local area or an area I run, I say, listen, I am not just a voice over the phone. I am putting you in a special file. And when this whole thing blows over, I'm going to call you and I'm going to come by and go over your policies with you. And they love that because now I've said I'm your agent.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like, you know, the ERSs, I need to get better because it takes so long to do these stupid EMs.
I know.
Ah!
Takes forever.
So, yeah, but I think I'll try what Megan, not Megan Wood, but Megan, the other Megan, sorry, I can't remember.
Megan Ferran.
Yeah, she's getting like 5 names. I'm just going to have to push for that. And
You
I
know,
would say everybody
like
does.
on the phone, like I'm hammering people to book a second appointment to do the rest of the ATM and to tell them that their policy got issued.
Yes.
It's that, because you know, the biggest concern when selling over the phone is placement and persistency,
Mhm.
right? And I think more we contact them and set up another, the more trust, the more like you are a real person. And I think the next appointment, I think, is what will lock everything down and allows us to do a really strong ERS session with them.
And I have an admin, so what happens,
Yeah.
I tell them my admin's going to call you and let you know when you're approved. If it doesn't go
That's
the way
good.
you want, I will call you. We also send a thank you note. Okay. We're very big on sending thank you notes, guys. People don't get personalized thank you notes anymore. And then we also send birthday cards. So the other thing is use your CRM, guys. You've got a bunch of people maybe that you could call, or I know if you're new, that's hard because you don't have any, you know, clients yet. But if you do and you've been around, please use your CRM because there's a lot of information there to help you have current clients and things like that.
So you downloaded your CRM contacts and just zip whipped them, right?
Yes.
Okay, gang, so Zip Whip is a special program through Alliance President's Club, $50 a month, and allows you to upload via spreadsheet all the contacts, you know, CRM contacts, and these are for our veterans. And then it just texts them a short text. I think you actually have 600 characters, actually, a text to, you know, develop more leads from your current clients. I think, like I just signed up for it because the one that we were using had limitations, and that was $100 a month. So this one's 50 with unlimited numbers of batches of 50. So you can do 50 at a time, and it'll blast it, and then you can do unlimited per day. But because because people can actually text you back, you may not be able to handle sending out 5,000 I mean, I'm being facetious. I mean, that's why you got to drip it so you can handle the responders. Right, Kerry?
We did it daily. We did 50 a day. And now Mike's using it with recruiting.
Yeah.
Doing all our old recruits and zip whipping them and his, his Zip Recruiter leads. So guys, it's really awesome. I think it's an amazing thing. Like I said, most of my business has been current clients and referrals from my current clients.
Okay, so Kerry, tell me which are your go-to policies, and do you go to those policies because it's easy to get a voice signature, or kind of give us your check down list in your head on who you want to go with when you're selling over the phone?
Okay, for term, it's Foresters, okay? Just because I think their e-app is much easier. If you use Mutual of Omaha, there's 2 signatures. That's very time consuming, you know? I love Foresters, so that's what I use. For whole life, I stay away from CFG because it's a voice, you have to do a voice deal and it takes forever. So I do Mutual of Omaha. Like I had a guy with COPD yesterday, so I will go meet with him and his wife and do a Forester's Plan Right. They're fine with that. Because you have to, for new people with Plan Right with Foresters, you must do an in-home interview with Aptical. You can't do it from the house. You must be present with the client. So I'm trying not to do that so much. I also do a lot of Advantage Plus because people maybe go, well, I don't want a term, you know, I'm spending all that money, I got nothing left. If you do an Advantage Plus with Foresters, that's a whole life that you can do part whole life, part term. So for 20 years, you might have 50 whole life, 50 20-year term, and that's 100,000. And then after 20 years, that term goes away and their price goes down. And they still have 50,000 whole life.
Okay, so
go
the so these voice signature, like I've had people tell me they like, because they don't want to mess with email, because email, like the mutual Volma is a pain because you got to get the HIPAA email signature.
Right.
Then that allows you to move through the e-app, and then you got to get the final signature. So there's 2 emails.
Right.
And so tell me how you handle, because Forrester is also a single email process.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle doing the email, particularly when the client's clicking, and it won't open because they got their pop-up blocker on their default browser? How do you overcome the stupid email signatures?
I think I've only had one client that had problems with the blocker. So we did go to CFG. It's just such a long process to read it out, and it's just me. I don't have patience for it. I've done a lot of Great Western. I've had a lot of very sick people. So, you can do Great Western. That's pretty simple. Again,
isn't Great Western also a voice signature?
You can, but I've done e-apps the whole time.
Okay.
I always ask them, kind of like Megan does ahead of time, while I'm talking to them, I'll say, so do you guys do email? Are you pretty comfortable with it? Do you know about blockers? And the older people, I just go to, CFG. I haven't done a lot of them, but if I have to, but I've had a lot of older sick people. So I've been doing Great Western, which is super simple.
Great Western. Okay.
Yeah.
And so so you have not, like when you have to do guaranteed issue, you don't go AIG, you go Great Western is
I go
like your
Great
go-to.
Western. I'm sorry, but ever since that time they took away the flights for the trip, I'm like, I like Great Western better.
Hey, by the way, I mean, I like Great Western too. And one thing, AIG doesn't pay renewals. So all things being equal, I'd rather go Great Western because you're going to get renewals out the yin yang.
Right.
For Great Western. They have one of the healthiest renewal streams. AIG has 0 renewals. And the other thing, sometimes it's path of least resistance. AIG is one of the worst companies. They're number 2 to Transamerica to work with, to try to get stuff issued. I mean, oh my gosh. And it's a close second, isn't it, Kerry?
Yes.
It's like neck and neck.
And I was going to say, the other thing is if you guys have someone over the age of 40 who is as tall as they are wide, you can get them immediate whole life coverage as long as they say no to the 3 questions. And I just had a lady who even said to me, you're not going to be able to take care of me. I'm grossly overweight. I'm trying to lose it. I said, no, I can get you immediate coverage. She goes, are you kidding me? I go, no. And she said no to the 3 questions. They did a little interview with her at home and they covered her immediately, and she's got immediate coverage, and they even bump up the amount of coverage. It's called their ultimate coverage or something.
I think it's called Assurance Plus. And
Yeah,
it's like 25% more death benefit, right? And immediate.
Right. And so she got, not only did she get the coverage, she got additional coverage. She was thrilled. So just don't forget that if you have people who are, as tall as they are wide.
That's actually a great point. And what are the other 2? What are the 3 questions, Kerry? Do you remember off the top of your head as far as the underwriting questions for Assurance Plus?
Yeah. Have you been hospitalized for more than, I think it's 5 days in the last 2 years? Then they have, can you do all the ADLs, I believe? And then the middle one is, are you being treated? And guys, treated is medications. And you have to be careful that they haven't changed medications in the past 2 years either. So if they're taking cholesterol or, Synthroid, that's okay. Those things aren't a big deal. But if they're on carvedilol or, something that could be a little suspicious or not good, I don't go there.
Okay. So treated versus maintenance, right? There's 2 different ways that insurance companies look at maintenance drugs versus treatment drugs, right?
Correct.
And
Like
that's
a
kind of,
maintenance could be
go
a tamoxifen for breast cancer. It could be, you know, a lady has facial hair, so she takes a certain drug that actually is meant for, I think it's kidney replacement, and it's a maintenance drug for facial hair. So we had to explain that. So just
okay.
be real specific on those drugs, guys. Ask, you know, I'm very specific. I say, after I ask them, what medications are you taking, even if the doctor prescribed them and you're not taking them because you don't want to, please tell me what those are. And then I say, let me ask you one other thing. Any heart problems, stroke, cancer, diabetes, COPD? Have you been knocking over convenience stores? Do you have more than 3 moving violations in the last 5 years? You're going to find young people have a tendency to go, oops, that last one.
Yeah, and that changes everything, right?
Yes, so try and do that before you start quoting. I do that when I'm asking the questions on the About Them page. I'm very specific on that.
Yep. Well, that's great. So you follow the ATM, you just kind of stay with it. It's either in home or on the phone. You follow the process of the ATM.
Yes.
And I love those 3 qualification questions at the beginning, just to kind of, as we call it, the upfront contract. You just tell them what's going to happen. And really what it does is, this is where Kerry takes control of the process. She follows her process. She tells the client what's going to happen, and then she makes it happen. And the client has agreed. It's kind of like letting the vampire in the room. You know, you said yes to all these 3. So now I've got permission to go ahead and take you through what I promised you. We're going to get you covered. You can afford it. You're going to be comfortable with it. And we're going to, make it happen. So that's great. So what is your typical goal every week in terms of how many, what are your activity goals versus what are your results goals?
Well, I'm definitely trying to hit that 30 appointment mark. I want to hit 30 to 40,000, and that may seem kind of weird, but I just don't know sometimes how my day's gonna work out. My mom just had some situations, and she's 91, so I'm kind of,
oh wow,
so I'm not sure what's gonna go on there. So I told Andy between 30 and 40 grand this month issue paid. So for me to do that, I did 9,800 last week. I have got to do that probably the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, every week.
Make that happen.
Yeah, about 10,000 a week.
Right. So, this week's going to be a little bit of a squeak for me, but I'm gonna put my time in like Miss Megan Wood, man. Oh my gosh, I want to sit with her.
So you need leads and you need to make the dials. Like the rule of thumb generally is, if you want to do 40,000, you got to average 40 appointments a week. If you want to do 30,000, you got to average 30 appointments a week, and on down from there. How many dials are you more of that, because you're a veteran, are you more of that how many dials it takes to get there versus, because a newbie, I try to get them activity goals. So man, if you can make $300 this week, let's figure out what happens from there. But your goal is $300. You're more of the whatever it takes to get 30 appointments, right?
Yes. And that's the biggest thing. And I was talking to Bill Krause because I was like, how did you do 385 dials? Did you sit down for 2 days straight? And she goes, no, I'm just dialing every second I have a chance. And I'm doing the appointments like I'm doing. Can you do it now or in an hour from now? So, the other thing is I will get certain current clients that I can put on the next day or the day after because I know they're going to show up. So it's really, and I've just been buying DLPs, older leads. I'm still calling through leads. And frankly, that one lady, like I said, was a DLP lead. Her husband died in November. They had sent it in October of last year. The other ones I wrote were DLPs, and they were anywhere from a year to 6 months old. And these guys were fine. They did it over the phone. They had no problem with it. I think if you have confidence when you call people like, this is what I do, let's just figure out how to get it done. It goes a long way. If you're going, well, would you, don't ask permission.
That's right.
Don't ask permission. Say, this is what we're going to do.
I love that. Pretend you're confident. Okay, if you're not confident, pretend you're confident. Be an actor. Act like you're confident, and guess what? You sound confident, and then you're going to get these results from someone who's been doing this 10 years.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I know. And I guys, for new people, it'll come. But the more you do it, the better you get. I mean, I had to learn this. I think I put in almost the first week, like 350 dials because I didn't know what I was doing. So you know what? You and then the zip whip came, and that really made a difference for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? A lead is a lead is a lead, guys. I called 4 yesterday, and nobody had helped them, and they were all DLPs, and one no-showed me. I'll be calling him again, by the way. I called someone yesterday that no-showed me last week, and I *671 in the area code, and it makes it private.
I love it.
Yeah.
They picked up.
Oh, hey, I go, we were supposed to meet last Wednesday. I don't know what happened. He goes, oh, well, I was going to call you, but, and guess what? He's getting his girlfriend to set it up because he's challenged with the computer. He says, I don't know how to text. He's not old either. He's younger than me. And I was like, okay, dude. So I got his girlfriend. He called her his old lady.
Wow.
I got his old lady's number. So, don't give up, by the way, if someone no-shows you. You call them back the following week and just act like, I don't know what happened. We just missed each other. Hey, do you have time now? Does that make sense?
So tell me, what are you seeing as far as no-shows on the phone? Like when you book it later, how many people, you text them and remind them, what is your no-show rate?
Well, the first week I had 30 appointments. I think I sat on 6. I had like 6 reschedules and 10 no-shows. I was like, ooh, that wasn't very good. So now I only had 1 no-show this week. But again, I have a lot of current clients and referrals.
Yeah.
So, my biggest thing is, and I've been doing this for a while. I always text my clients after I hang up if they have texting capabilities, and then I re-text them the next morning, okay?
Yeah.
And I think Paul Menachino has picked that up, and so has Balick, because Justin Balick, because they're texting after the call, they're texting that morning, and they're texting an hour before the call. Don't worry about blowing their phone up, guys. I do it because I want them to know, hey, I'm coming. And I am going out a little more now. I'm not young, so I'm kind of being careful, and I have an older mother who's, like I said, 91. And some things happened this past weekend I had to deal with, and I can't even go near my mom, so I had to go hire help to go in for my mother. So, life comes at us, guys, and guess what? I just keep working. I might have had to take an hour, it might have taken my numbers down a little bit this week because I had to focus on that, and it was a surprise. But guess what? I'm back on the phones, hammering them. Next week will probably be bigger than this week. So I always look at that. Don't quit, guys. Just don't quit.
So tell me, okay, so what is your protocol when you go to the home? Do you have your mask and gloves, or kind of how do you handle that social distancing when you're with?
Yeah, I wear a mask and gloves.
Okay.
I use, hand sanitizer. The gloves sometimes get real sweaty. Whew, they are hot.
I know.
So, but I, like that gentleman that had the kidney, thing, they wanted me to come to the house. And I said, okay, but I'm wearing and they all had masks on. They didn't have gloves. And, it's just a precaution. And some of them will say, I don't really care if you wear a mask. But I don't ever want to be the one that didn't wear the mask and then somebody gets sick and goes, she was the only one in the house.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So I'm going to follow that. And the state of Ohio is really, the governor has said he really wishes people would do that. And I think it's smart. I know 2 people who have died so far. I have a client's wife who's in the ICU because of COVID and 3 other clients that are sick. So I'm not going to take a chance.
So do you sit like on the other end of the table? Like when you're sitting down with them, how do you?
They're about 4 feet,
Okay.
6 feet, but I've got a mask on. I've got my gloves. I usually wipe my pens down before I go in the house. And I say, I wiped this down before I got here. I try to put my gloves on outside the car because I don't want to be touching my door handles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll put those on when I get out of the car. I already have my mask on. And I knock with the back of my hand so I'm not touching anything. I just knock like that. When I get in there, like we laugh. When I get ready to leave, I go, woohoo, let's do this.
I love that.
Good about it. But, you know, I've met with several. I went to one house, get this, she's a nurse. She didn't have a mask on. I'm like looking at her. I had mine on. I'm like, what is with you, girlfriend? And she's working with COVIDs. I'm like, what is with you? You know why? She's 31 years old and feels she's invincible. It's awesome. I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
Her mom was having a beer. I'm sure that was antiseptic. So.
I just got one question here, Kerry. What do you text on your Zip Whip to your current clients? What's it sound like?
I've had 2 or 3 different ones. Like in the beginning, I was using the Forbes and Money and Barron's magazine. I'd say, hey, I don't know if you're aware, this is the time to get your insurance because prices are going to go up. They're already taking things away. And I don't know if any of you know, but you know, Transamerica took away from age 85 to 75, and Nassau Re lowered their 85 down to 71. And I tell the clients, I said, even when I talk to them, when they say, well, you know, we probably should think about this, I said, you don't want to think about this. Number one, they're taking away age. And number 2, prices are going up and they're tightening down on their underwriting. You don't want to wait. So on my Zip Whip, it'll be like, hey, how are you doing? That's the first thing we do on all of our things. How are you? I just want to make sure you're okay. Hey, by the way, you know, your insurance is good, but let us know if there's anyone in your household or friends of yours that could use my services. Now is the time to buy insurance before the prices go up or they tighten up underwriting. And I got a ton of responses. I mean, I had people saying, thank you for thinking about me. And then I'd get someone calling me going, oh, June was it was so nice that you checked on her. She told me about you and I'd like to get some insurance. So it led to referrals too.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, Kerry, you rock. You and Mike rock. And
We love
appreciate
you guys, and I'm so excited. Look at all these people. Oh, I should have stage fright.
Oh, I can't imagine you ever having stage fright.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I want to wish you all the best, and everyone, you can do this. Just keep trying. Just make as many dials as you can, and you'll make it happen. It's activity. It's not that I'm any better than you. I just make, you know, enough phone calls, but you might have to make more than me. That's all. But you can get this. You can do it, and listen to the trainings. Whatever trainings are out there, try and get on them, because it's only going to help you. You're going to pick up a tidbit.
Yeah, get on Band. You have to sign up for Band, because that's where they let everyone know the next training webinar. You're going to do a special call with Minikino or whomever, so you can just be on the cutting edge of the latest thing people are doing. Then you get to see all the success of what all's going down with people meeting their goals and surpassing their goals, or even people not meeting their goals. But you get to see that people are normal, just like you. And all you got to do is pick up the phone, right, Kerry?
Yeah, and I haven't had the best week, guys. I have one sale in. That's not like me. But guess what? Life came up. I had to deal with it. And guess what? I've got a whole month. Just because I didn't do well maybe this week, and I still have 3 days left, that doesn't mean that next week's not going to be a blowout and I'm going to have a huge week like I did this past week. So, you know what? Do it day by day. Don't get upset because you had a bad day or a couple days. Go talk to somebody, get better, and keep pushing. Do not quit. If you quit, you have no chance.
That's right. Well, no true words have been said. Thank you, Kerry. Thanks everybody for being on the call. Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
All right, gang, let's do it. If you need leads, we've got lead programs galore. So get with me. We'll put leads in your hands. We'll get you on the phone. So thanks, everybody. Let's rock this thing. God bless, man. May, let's wipe the slate clean. We're in May now, and let's rock May. God bless everybody. Take care.